Well, I thought I'd do a quick video on how I tie my quick stops on. Everyone's got their own way, but the way I do it I feel is a nice, efficient way. And what I want to do with, especially quick stops, is create a very small loop that the quick stop actually sits in, which then when you're actually using baits such as bread, sweet corn and luncheon meat, sits within the bait and gives it that extra security. As I say, you've got different ways of connecting them, but I just want to do a video on how I personally do it. So I'm tying some hooks up for Lindholme Lakes. So I'm using Aero Slick Silk 015, perfect line for that kind of balance of hooking the odd big carp, but mainly catching F1s and small match carp. Aero Slick Silk, absolutely love it. Ties up lovely as well, and very strong. MWG 16s. And I've got armed with me as well, if you notice on the side here, I've got a little glass of lukewarm soapy water, and that is for tying knots, especially let's say if I'm going to tie some shot leader knots at home. I'll always dip the line when before I actually pull the knot tight in that, and it really does create that extra smoothness on the line and stops you getting any damage around the knot area. It just gives you that ultimate knot strength as well, because obviously you can imagine the washing up liquid, only a little drop in it just makes the process so smooth and efficient. So let's get going. So as I say, there's different ways of connecting it. A lot of people like to tie a knot right against the quick stop, but I don't like that because I think it damages the bait as you're putting it in, and by having it in a loop means it doesn't damage the bait as much. So whenever you're putting quick stops onto your line, always leave them on the frame itself, easier. Double the line up, grab the quick stop, give it a twist, off it comes like that. So I've got a line doubled up, just dip my fingers in there, and that really does help stick the line together. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the quick stop between my thumb and my middle finger, and the line now, the doubled up line, is going underneath this finger over the top of the quick stop. I grab the quick stop with that finger and I open it up. You can see the loop starting to form. I'm creating a figure of 8 knot. Open the loop up, put my finger through, grab the quick stop, and as I'm running it down now, I'm pulling the knot down at the same time. And you end up with, you can see, a nice tiny knot. Not too small, not too big. So you can imagine that's now going to sit within even a single grain of corn. Trim it off. Like so. Now I'm going to do them at 60 centimetres. So about that length. I might trim them down on the day, but generally the length of my hook lengths for this style of fishing is about 60 centimetres. Trim the end of the line off, make it nice and clean at the end for pushing through here. So 16 hook, I'm doing this for single corn. So through the back of the eye, then I bring the quick stop. I want it sitting at a specific length. Now, what I use actually, I've got a measuring board here, but I actually use my fingers. So for a single grain of corn, I use the nail on my little finger as a marker. So I want my quick stop sitting at the bottom of it, and I want my hook just below the top of it there. That's absolutely perfect. That is the right measurement for a single grain of corn, and in millimeters, that works out at 10 millimeters. Works out at 10 millimeters for a single grain of corn. For me personally, that is absolutely perfect how I want it to sit. Once I've got it in place, I then grab with my other hand, everything in place now is locked in, and I've left enough room for me to whip down the hook. So I start whipping down the hook, and I like to give it quite a few whips. And as well as that, what I've done is by dipping my fingers in that soapy washing up liquid, it's made even this process so smooth. And you're going to cause less damage on your line as it's passing over the skin of your fingers as well. I'm whipping it all the way down, like so. So quite a few whips, but that's to keep the hair in place on the hook. Through the back of the eye again. Like so. And there you have it. That is for a single grain of corn. So you can do that process when you're banding or anything like that to create that small loop. And then for double corn, I tied one up here already. That is for 2 pieces of corn. And basically to measure the length of that for 2 pieces of corn, I put it across my thumbnail, which works out at 19 mil. So if I have the quick stop flat, oops, wrong one, there we go, just under 20 mil. So that is a good guideline when you're doing single and double corn. 10 mil hair for single corn and 19 mil hair for double corn. Hope that helps, and yeah, hope you put it to use.